organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up on Daily Iowan TV, the West Nile virus has reached a new high. See what you can do to prevent this life-threatening disease spread by nagging mosquitoes.
And Summit gets a new owner. See what his plans are to wipe out the name Scummit.
And in sports, an exclusive interview with Iowa football and basketball announcer Gary Dolphin.
That's all coming your way next. Daily Iowan TV starts now.
I'm Tom Brokaw. For more than 100 years now, the University of Iowa community has been waking up to the Daily Iowan. Today, it's the largest newsroom in eastern Iowa. And now you can see the news every night on Daily Iowan TV and get it anytime worldwide at dailyiowan.com.
Thanks for tuning into your Wednesday edition of Daily Iowan TV. I'm Tasha Woods.
And I'm Ian Martin. Iowa City Police are cracking down on nuisance makers in the Ped Mall. Walking through the area near Washington and 100th Street, you'll notice a greater police presence. Sergeant Denise Brotherton confirmed that this is to address complaints from residents. 3 arrests were made this week for littering, and 1 involved smoking a cigarette. Brotherton says that even these small crimes do deserve to be addressed.
Summit is under new management this year, and the manager says he wants to change the bar's reputation. Summit, also known to many students as Scummit for its former speedy reputation, was renovated in the hopes of attracting an older customer base. The bar's new manager, Brad Temple, said they are incorporating features such as dueling pianos to give the bar a new, classier feel.
And after the devastating drought this summer, it didn't seem Iowans would have much to smile about. But now they do. What is it? Drought-tolerant seeds, a latest line in seeds estimated to increase yields by 5 to 15% above what non-drought-tolerant seeds would yield. The Monsanto Seed Company is careful not to overpromise its ability because, after all, the corn still does need water to grow. The latest technology will be available to farmers in a few months.
The West Nile virus is making a splash in several states around the country. Daily Iowan TV's Muriel Kone takes a closer look.
Nestled under shady trees are birds that may likely be infected with the West Nile virus. The virus has passed from birds to mosquitoes that later infect people. In recent weeks, the virus spiked across the nation, with the state of Texas accounting for half of the reported cases. Iowa has seen a decrease in cases this year, which health officials associate with the devastating drought that hit the region. The lack of rain helped to control Iowa's mosquito populations, whose primary breeding grounds are pools of water. And even if a majority of the cases are found in Texas, it is still important for Iowans to be safe. And according to the Iowa Department of Public Health, you can reduce your risk of exposure by using insect repellents, avoiding outdoor activities at dusk and dawn when mosquitoes are most active, wearing long-sleeve shirts and pants, and eliminating standing water around the home. 2012 is the worst year for the virus, and it's too early to tell just how much of an effect it'll have here in eastern Iowa. Muriel Kone, Daily Iowan TV.
Still to come on Daily Iowan TV, Hurricane Isaac makes landfall in Louisiana.
And in sports, we have an exclusive interview as Lauren Moss sits down with Gary Dolphin.
But first, let's check in with Muriel Kone back from the field in the studio for a look at weather. And Muriel, it was muggy today, but is it still going to be warm later in the week?
Thanks, guys. And after a very hot day, it looks like tomorrow is going to be, you guessed it, even hotter. Tonight and tomorrow's morning we can expect some comfortable temperatures in the mid-70s, but the hot and uncomfortable high of 96 degrees will come roaring in around midday. Tomorrow night's temps are something to look forward to with a low of 67 degrees and clear skies. Looking to our extended forecast, we can expect about the same weather situation on Friday as we will see tomorrow. There will be, however, a slight chance of rain. The weekend's high temperatures are fortunately going to dip down into the lower 80s with comfortable lows in the upper 60-degree range. But with these good temperatures comes increasing chance of rain with 70% on Saturday and 30% chance on Sunday. The start of next week may be the time to catch up on some weekend activities that may have gotten rained out with similar mid-80-degree temperatures and only partly cloudy skies on both Monday and Tuesday. And let me say we are very, very fortunate to have some nice weather here, but further south, things aren't looking so good.
That's right, Muriel. The Gulf Coast has been hit hard with Hurricane Isaac today. The country is making preparations to deal with the destruction that is sure to follow in the wake of this storm. Isaac has been described as being slow and destructive with heavy rain and wind slamming into the coast. The biggest concern for the Gulf Coast is flooding, an expected storm surge of between 6 to 12 feet. As of now, over 1 million people have lost power in the Gulf states. Hurricane Isaac has already made its way through the Caribbean, leaving behind lots of damage, most of which has been caused by flooding. The storm has killed 24 people.
Apples took a hit this year with the damaging drought conditions affecting most of the Midwest. However, Wilson's Apple Orchard, located north of Iowa City, was well prepared. The decrease in apples have not been due to the summer drought. It's because of the early spring and mild winter. They have half as many apples as last year, but there are still plenty to go around. Brush burning and irrigation has helped this orchard delay damages, but prices still have gone up. The trees have not been damaged, so next year, expect to have an abnormally large crop.
And now for a look at your Hawkeye sports update, let's go to Alyssa Bergamini.
Hello and welcome back to the Daily Iowan TV Sports Studio. We have a special for you today because earlier this afternoon, Daily Iowan TV Sports sat down for an exclusive interview with the voice of the Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin. With an exclusive interview, here's Lauren Moss.
All right, well, I'm sitting here with the voice of the Hawkeyes, Mr. Gary Dolphin. Gary, it's so nice to have you here.
Lauren, good to be back for our annual get-together, annual visit.
It's our 1-year anniversary. Okay, well, let's get right into it. What are your expectations this year for Hawkeye football?
That's a great question. That seems to be the most popular question. It's the youngest team that Kirk Ferentz has had in his now 14 years. At Iowa. They went from 25 seniors a year ago, which was his top-heavy veteran team, to perhaps his youngest team now that he's had. I think he has 13 seniors. The good news is 85% of this roster comes back for the next 2 or 3 years. The bad news is it's a young team that we'll learn a lot about. I think the counterbalance there is that other than Chicago with Northern Illinois, they have 4 consecutive home games. Right. Iowa's never had 4 straight home games in Kinnick Stadium, so that's a plus in that this team can grow up in front of the home fans. Then they get a bye week to prepare for their first road game. So the schedule kind of plays out in their favor. I think it's a team that can win 8 games. This is me talking now. Right. If it stays healthy, I think it's a team that can win 8 games, and beyond that, who knows? The key is James Vandenberg on offense. Mm-hmm. And finding replacements on the defensive line on the other side of the ball. Vandenberg, to me, is the best pure passing quarterback in the Big Ten, returning this year. And I think the new offensive coordinator, Greg Davis, is going to take advantage of that.
That's great. And does this team remind you of any past Hawkeye teams?
It doesn't yet because, they're trying to replace 10 starters.
Right.
I don't know, I've been doing this for 16 years now. I don't remember an Iowa team that had to replace 10 starters and a couple special team stars before. So it doesn't remind me of any team specifically, although I will tell you there were low expectations in like 2005 when Drew Tate took that team to heights that we hadn't seen in a while. 2008, Ricky Stanzi emerged, and that team went on to win 10 or 11 games. And so it reminds me, it's a similar chemistry or a makeup to those 2 years.
Right. And I have to ask, what is your favorite call or go-to line to make during a game?
Well, touchdown Iowa, of course.
I know. You've heard that a couple times, right?
We hopefully will hear that a lot
Let's
this
hope
year.
this season we'll hear it a lot,
right?
Yeah,
because I think the offense, I think this is an offense that can score points regularly, and I think that's critical because we have most of the glaring vacancies, although Marvin McNutt was the most decorated receiver in Iowa history. Most of the key vacancies are on the defensive side of the football. Okay. So this offense may have to carry the defense for the first month of the season, and I think it will.
Great. And I know last year when I talked to you, you were first diagnosed with prostate cancer. And I know you have a big announcement to make to everyone if you want to talk about your current health status.
Yeah, I mean, I went through 42 radiation treatments shortly after I talked to you, which progressed over the fall months during the football season, but I was happy to keep the routine, the schedule, didn't miss a game or a beat. And then in January, the radiation oncologist said, okay, I don't need to see you anymore. We think we got it whipped. So, you know, they say you're cancer-free, but there's always that thing in the back of your mind that you never know. But that motivates you to take better care of yourself and to make sure that guys my age and a little younger get that regular checkup. It's a simple blood test that can pinpoint prostate cancer real easily. It's called a PSA test. And there was never any cancer in my family. So it proves once again that the big C word can strike anybody, and I know your audience has 1,000 stories about how cancer has affected their lives. So just be preventative, be aggressive, be ahead of it, and get checked out. It's a 15-minute test, that's it.
Right. And like you mentioned, you know, during treatment, everything, you did not miss one single game. How did you do that?
Well, that was important to me. You know, I'm involved with a lot of charitable groups, among them the American Cancer Society. And what I see in patients, whether it's ALS or Alzheimer's or cancer, is people are motivated to be who they are and to not change their routine, not change their schedule. So I was motivated. I mean, I get fired up over going to work every day. And I love covering the Hawkeyes, and I love being a part-time banker, and I love doing charitable work. I did not want to give any of that up. It was important to me that I keep my normal routine and keep myself motivated instead of sitting around at home. Oh, you know what, I'm going to take some time off. I'm going to sit here and feel sorry for myself. That's not me, and it really shouldn't be anybody. Right.
That's great, and I know you're such an inspiration, and that's so great to hear. But, you know, the big question on everyone's mind, what are your predictions for this weekend with the NIU game at Soldier Field?
Oh, I like the Hawks' chances. And not that, you know, Northern Illinois has the longest winning streak right now in FBS football. It's 9 consecutive games. But if there's a team out there that lost as much off last year's team as Iowa did, it's Northern Illinois. You know, Chandler Harnish is with the Indianapolis Colts. He accounted for over 3,000 yards of offense for the Huskies. Now, they have good players moving into their slots as well this year. Dave Doran is a heck of a coach, played at Drake, was an all-star at Drake, coach for Brett Bielema at Wisconsin. He knows Iowa. He knows the Big Ten. They'll be motivated. It's their home game. However, the X factor, and you know this coming from Chicago, is Iowa will have 30,000 bumblebees in the stands on Saturday at 2:30 kickoff. So it'll be as much an Iowa home field as it will Northern Illinois. You know, I don't know if the Hawks are 10 points better, but I like them by a touchdown.
Well, great. All right, you heard it from the voice of the Hawkeyes himself, Mr. Gary Dolphin. Gary, thank you so much for joining me.
Great to see you, Lauren. Thank you.
Thanks, Lauren, and thanks again to Gary for coming in. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for special guest, KCJJ Sports Director Kyle Hughes, ESPN.com's Big Ten blogger, Adam Reitenberg, ESPN 1600's Mark Dukes, and last but certainly not least, Daily Iowan sports editor Molly Olmstead. That's all for us in sports. Back to you guys at the desk.
And now let's take a look at what's going on outside of Iowa. Paul Ryan will make his first keynote speech tonight at the Republican National Convention in Tampa, Florida. It will be his first major address as Mitt Romney's vice presidential candidate.
And Syrian President Bashar al-Assad made a rare appearance in an interview today in the midst of chaos between the rebels and the Syrian government forces. What has turned into a full-fledged civil war has struck the region, costing thousands of lives. In the past week, hundreds of Syrians have been killed in government raids. Monday, the government carried out mass executions in Damascus. Today, the president says that his regime needs more time to win the civil war. He acknowledged that his forces are struggling to contain the rebel challenge. And only with Daily Iowan TV can you get a sneak peek at Thursday's print version of the Daily Iowan. Read about why university officials think all Iowa students should switch to the new Iowa One cards.
Plus, read about why websites displaying BAC is taken down. That's your latest edition of Daily Iowan TV. Be sure to check us out at the same time tomorrow or anytime online at dailyiowan.com. Thanks for watching and have a great night.